Hello everyone and welcome back to Math Ease with Miss C. Today we're moving on to another really important concept, the LCM. In the last few videos we learned all about the HCF or the GCD. If you missed out on those videos, make sure to check them out. I'm linking them in the description box below. By the end of this lesson, you'll know exactly what the LCM means and the different names it goes by. So let's get started. Just like the HCF had different names, LCM goes by a few different names too. And guess what? They all mean the same thing. We have the LCM, which stands for the least common multiple. We have the LCM again, where it can mean the lowest common multiple. And we have the SCM, which means the smallest common multiple. At first, these words may look confusing, but think about it. Least, lowest, and smallest all mean the same thing. So don't get confused if you hear someone mention some other name. By the way, I'm a bit curious. Which version do you hear the most? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways, let's get down to business and figure out what the least common multiple actually is. The words themselves tell us a lot. Multiple means numbers that come up when you multiply. Common means something that two or more numbers share, and least means the smallest one. Now let's try and connect what all these words mean. So a multiple means numbers we get when we multiply a number by 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So we're going to look at the multiples of different numbers. Common means something that two or more numbers share. So we're going to find the multiples that are common between these numbers. And least means the smallest out of all the common multiples. So we're going to select that common multiple, which is the smallest. So the LCM of two numbers is the smallest number that is a multiple of both of them. It's like asking yourself, what's the first number that appears in the multiplication of both these numbers? Let's make this even easier to understand with an example. We'll find the LCM of 6 and 8 by listing all their multiples. Let's begin by writing down the multiples of 6. So that is 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, and 48. Now, let's write all the multiples of 8. So 8 times 1 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16, 8 times 3 is 24, 8 times 4 is 32, then we get 40 and 48, and so on. Now that we've figured out the multiple part of the word LCM, let's move on to the common part of it. This means we have to pick out those multiples that 6 and 8 have in common. We can clearly see that these are 24 and 48. Of course, there will be many more because multiples are never ending. But for LCM, we don't really need to go that far. That's because the final part of the LCM is finding out which one is the least. This means that out of all the common multiples between 6 and 8, we have to pick out the smallest. That has to be 24, as you can probably see. So the LCM of 6 and 8 is 24 because it's the smallest multiple that both numbers share. See how simple that was? You just list the multiples until you find the first one they share. Now here's a quick question for you. Can you try finding the LCM of 4 and 5 in the same way? I'll be waiting for your answers in the comments. Now that we know what the least common multiple is, it's time to take it a step further. In the next video, we're going to learn how to find the LCM of numbers using prime factorization. Because when we get larger and trickier numbers, prime factorization is going to come to the rescue. So subscribe to the channel and don't miss out on our next videos. That's all for today's class. Don't hate math, keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!